All right, are you ready to talk about the past, but in the future? Sounds kind of weird, right? Well, today we're jumping into a seriously powerful but often misunderstood English tense, the future perfect simple. And hey, by the end of this, you will have mastered it. See? I'm already using it. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to break down what the future perfect actually is, how to build it, when to use it, and how it stacks up against other tenses. And then, of course, we'll finish up with a little quiz to make sure it all sticks. First things first, let's tackle the big idea. You ever need to talk about something that's going to be finished before a specific time in the future? Well, that's exactly what this tense is for. So here's the core concept, and it's kind of cool. Imagine you're time traveling. You're standing at a point in the future, and you're looking back at an action that's already complete. It's all about a future deadline. And I absolutely love this way of thinking about it. It's like you're sending a postcard from the future, and on it you've written, hey, guess what? I finished it already. That really nails the feeling, right? From that future point of view, the job is done. All right, let's get into the nuts and bolts. We're going to break down how you actually build these sentences. And trust me, once you see the formula, it's super straightforward. Okay, the core formula is actually pretty simple. You take your subject, add will have, and then you stick the past participle on the end. You know, that's the V3 form of the verb, like eaten, spoken, or learned. And here's the best part. It doesn't change. I, you, she, they. It's always will have. Super easy. So this table lays it all out for us really clearly. You've got your positive or affirmative statement, your negative, where we usually just say won't, and then how you'd ask a question. Let's dive into some real examples for each of these. Okay, check out these positive examples. See the pattern here? By tomorrow, before the storm starts, by 2026. Every single one points to an action that's going to be finished before some future moment. And yeah, that last one, that's a promise. And for negative sentences, it's just as easy. You just slide the word not in between will and have. Or, just use the contraction won't. Simple as that. We're just saying the action won't be finished by that future point in time. Now, what if you want to ask a question? Easy. You just swap the subject and will. So instead of you will have completed, it becomes will you have completed? This is super useful for checking in on deadlines or making plans. All right, so you've got the formula down, but how do you know when to use it? Well, there are some really helpful clues or signal words that basically shout, hey, use the future perfect here. Think of these words as your cheat sheet. Whenever you see phrases like by tomorrow, by the time, or by the end of the week, that's a huge clue. They all set a future deadline, and that's exactly what the future perfect is all about. So really, it all comes down to two main situations. One, an action will be finished before a specific time. Think, I will have finished my emails by 10 a.m. And two, an action will be finished before something else happens in the future, like she will have left by the time we arrive. A time or an event. That's it. Okay, let's tackle a really common point of confusion. Future perfect versus future continuous. A lot of people get tripped up by this, but I promise when you see them side by side, the difference is crystal clear. And here it is, the big difference. Future perfect focuses on completion. The action is finished, it's done. But future continuous, that focuses on duration. The action is in progress, it's ongoing. So just think, finished versus in progress. Okay, you've learned the what, the how, and the when. Now it's time to put it all to the test with a quick quiz. Let's see what you've got. Ready to go? All right, question 1. Look closely at the phrase, by next year. Is that talking about something in progress, or is it setting a deadline for a period of time to be complete? And the answer is C, will have known. Perfect. By next year marks the completion of that 5-year period. It's a finished block of time. Great job. Okay, question 2. Think about the logic here. The sentence says to call after 8 p.m. So what has to happen to the dinner by then? You got it, it's B, will have finished. By then means the dinner will be over and done with. So it's a good time to call. The action is complete before 8 p.m. All right, number 3. Here we have two different actions in the future. They leave and the match starts. We need the tense that shows one action is totally finished before the next one even kicks off. Yep, the answer is B, will have left. This is a perfect example of sequencing future events. Their action of leaving is totally done before the match even begins. Okay, let's try a negative one now.
What's the right way to say that you're worried a goal won't be reached by a certain deadline?
And it's A, won't have saved. You nailed it. That's the correct negative structure for this tense. We're on a roll. Just one more question left. Last question. How would you ask someone if the report will be finished before you get back? And that's a wrap. The answer is C, will have finished. Amazing job. You're asking about the finished status of the report, looking back from the future moment you return. You've totally got this. So let's zoom out for a second. What's the big takeaway? The Future Perfect gives you this incredible level of precision. It lets you talk about goals and deadlines with real confidence. So I have a question for you. What goals will you have accomplished by this time next year? Think about it. Thanks so much for joining me today.